All right, worship leader question of the day. What is the lens that you use to evaluate the worship gatherings to make sure Christ is at the center? All right, big question, but here's the idea. How do we know, how do we evaluate on an ongoing basis if Jesus is at the center of our gatherings rather than a building or a personality or a sermon or a particular song or a style or whatever it is? And I think there's a long lens to it to view that, and I think there's a short lens. The short lens is to listen every week to what people are saying about the service. So are they saying things like, oh man, the music was amazing, or that was an amazing sermon, or I love that preacher, or the style of this church is cool, or whatever it is. Like, are they talking about specific ministries and specific people? Or are you hearing things like, man, God touched me today, or I'm changed today, or I've got something to go home and work on in my life, or I met with God? If you hear those kinds of things, the second half of those, then you know that Jesus is at the center of what you're doing, and it's not people, and it's not personalities, and it's not ministries. The longer lens is more out of like Isaiah chapter 6, where Isaiah, after being in a worship gathering with Jesus at the center, he said, "Here am I, send me." It was obedience. And so the longer lens is to see, are people going on mission more often? Are people being more obedient to the calling of God in their lives? Are people giving more? Are they involved in ministry more? So long lens is obedience. Short lens is, what are people saying every single week?